All right, if you haven't watched The Epic Economist this week, the episode that came out on Monday, you are ready for this channel on steroids. He literally had a woman in a TikTok video say, "I'm tired of getting taken from behind without any chicken grease." Regular people voicing the same opinions that MillennialSteam has been talking about for over a decade. Finally, it reaches a breaking point with a woman that went to PA school, took out $175,000 worth of student loans, paid back $20,000 worth of student loans in 1 year, and her loans still went up $10,000 because of interest on the student loans. Can you imagine that? Paying back $20,000 worth of debt that doesn't go away, only to get slapped with another $10,000 on top of it. With that said, let's get into today's opening monologue. Ever notice how your paycheck disappears faster than your will to live on a Monday morning shift? You work all week, smile through the grease-stained uniform, and somehow survival still costs more than the wage they pay you to survive. That's not budgeting. That's corporate hazing disguised as the American dream. Welcome to a world where being broke isn't a choice. It's the subscription plan you didn't sign up for. I've been saying this now for a couple of weeks. We work the 40-hour work week for the 10-hour-a-week paycheck. Because as you guys will see in this episode of the Epic Economist, people are afraid. Going to the grocery store now, as he describes it, it's a jump scare. You don't know what things are going to cost from day to day. It's getting to the point where a lot of you in my last video said you don't want to eat anymore. I agree with you 100%. I just made ramen. It tasted like pure grade A taint, and that's pretty much all I can afford. It's all I've eaten all week because it's all that you can afford. You have to make certain that you get through from week to week. This has probably been one of the worst financial weeks of my entire adult life. I had to figure out how I was going to survive on belly button lint from the moment that I got paid last time till tomorrow when I get a paycheck. Again, not enough money to survive. And yet, instead of showing us the way the economy is falling apart, instead I woke up to find out that Jimmy Kimmel got canceled for saying something. This is why I went dark for 5 days after what happened last week. Because the conservative left, which I guess I would represent, we're under attack. And the reason for that is because we're coming out here and saying what's really going on out there. We can't afford rent, we can't afford food, and we can't afford to go to work. Why? Because work isn't paying us a living wage anymore. We're going to work only to go slower and slower and slower into debt. All my credit cards are maxed out. I haven't gone on vacation. I haven't bought any luxuries. What's on my credit cards are utility bills and food. Because when your utility bill in a tiny little piece of crap place like where I live is $500 just for what's in here, plus internet, plus phone bill, that's it. There's nothing left at the end of the month for you to be able to say, I'm going to save this little bit of money over here. That's not possible. Every month you need more money than you can earn working a 40-hour paycheck. And if you think that 40 hours isn't enough, try working 80, 100, 120 hours a week at $15 an hour. It still isn't going to cut it. As the Epic Economist said, the American dream didn't die. It got murked. And it got murked a long time ago because wages will not keep up with the cost of living. And that's intentional. Every time the minimum wage goes up, miraculously, your rent goes up too. As I've said before, they like to keep rent at 100 times the hourly rate of the minimum wage. Now think about that. $1,500. The Arizona minimum wage right now is $14.75. The average cost of a one-bedroom apartment in this part of town is $2,300, meaning you need to make $23 an hour just to pay your rent. How does that work? It doesn't. That's what I'm here to tell you. Is it doesn't. And no one will openly talk about these problems because they're very unpopular topics to talk about. And that's why I'm here talking about it. Because when everyone's telling you that it's okay, all you have to do is open your wallet and see the flies or the bats come out of it and wonder, well, I'm working. Why am I poor? Because the system wants you to be poor. Talking point number one. We live in a country where your paycheck is basically monopoly money. Bright colors, fun to count, but worth nothing when you try to buy actual food. You don't budget anymore. You gamble. Do I pay rent or gamble on milk prices this week? The American dream isn't about owning a house now. It's about owning enough quarters to free your laundry from the machine before your landlord shuts off the lights. That is so true. I've excuse me, I've lived in this little tiny piece of crap apartment now for about 5 months, and I still haven't had a working washer dryer, even though it's incorporated right into the price of this piece of crap hellhole. Why? Because guess what? They have all the power. They can decide whether or not they're going to fix anything in my kitchen, which they haven't. The sink doesn't work. The drawers don't work. The water spills out all over the place. I have a leaky tub. I have a tub that needs to be resealed. I have a bathroom that doesn't flush. I have peeling paint in my bathroom. They had to know about all this stuff. And yet they will not lift one finger to fix it. I got a message the other day that said, hey, MillennialSteam, the plumber tried to stop by at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday. Well, guess where everyone is at 1 o'clock on a Tuesday? They're at work. They're not sitting at home waiting for a plumber that's going to look at it and say your landlord's not going to pay to fix this. Why? Because they can't. What choice do you have? It is a hostage situation when it comes to rental prices, and the conditions of these places. This place isn't worth $10 a month to live here, but yet they're pulling nearly $2,000 a month out of my pocket just so that I can sit here in the dark during the time I don't have to be at work. When you're at work, all you're doing is you're just sitting there in a state of shock, wondering, what am I going to do at the end of this week? That puny paycheck they're going to put into my account tomorrow isn't going to cover my bills. You know that. I know that. Your boss knows that. And boy, does Fleece know that. Because Fleece, right now, he is counting his lucky stars because in less than an hour, your tighty whities are going to be around your ankles and Fleece is going to be having the time of his life while you scratch your head and wonder when he's going to get done. But Fleece isn't about taking care or being kind or being soft. With Fleece, it's always the hard way. Just like with this economy. This economy is always going to be the hard way. And you're always going to be rubbing your little section after the economy's had its way with you. Talking point number 2. Every trip to the grocery store feels like walking into an art museum where all the prices are a joke, except they're real. Bacon displayed like fine jewelry, milk locked up like an iPhone. You're not a shopper. You're a spectator in late-stage capitalism. Cruel comedy. The performance ends with you putting back a loaf of bread while the cashier pretends not to pity you. We've all seen this before, right? It's a mother with a single mom, 10 kids. She's paying with food stamps, and someone in the line behind her doesn't like that. Why? Because in this country, we can't stand it when someone gets something for free. Well, the grocery store, believe me, it's getting something for free. The executives at Kroger's admitted that they were price gouging people. Why? Because they can. Where else are you going to go? When corporate America is allowed to gouge you, but asking for help with food is something that you are going to be mocked at the grocery store, or when someone notices that you can't afford everything that you put in your shopping cart. We've all been there. I've worked at Walmart for many years. I've seen people put back food. I've seen people steal food. I've seen people do every conceivable thing inside of a grocery store that you couldn't possibly imagine. From urinating on the floor to getting it on in a public bathroom. I've seen it all. Because when you spend 40 to 50 hours inside of a grocery store like a slave, you get to see a slice of humanity that you wish you could unsee. But watching people steal food and have to put things back or return things because they realize that they got home, and if they keep everything that they bought, they're not going to have enough money to survive until they get more money. That happens. I've seen people bring back entire cartfuls of food because I worked in the customer service counter on many nights, and you see it. People that go to the grocery store spend more than they have, and they have to come back and return butter or eggs or a carton of milk. It's not about them wanting to this. It's publicly humiliating to have to come back and do things like this. But we live in a world where public humiliation is normal. Your uniform at work is public humiliation. When people see you walking around wearing a name tag, wearing your company polo, and knowing full well that this is the best that you can do. Because at the end of the day, we all worked to up to the aptitude that we can. We're all not cut out to be NASA scientists. Some of us are regular Susie Rottencrotch, driving for DoorDash or delivering pizzas. Whatever you have to do for money, it's not about you wanting to do it. I've never woken up one day of my entire life and said, you know what, I actually want to go to work today. The I can't curse on here, but there are certain people in our society who claim that they wake up exhilarated to go to work. But these aren't the people that are actually doing the work. These are the people that are using your hard work to buy another yacht, to buy another luxury home, to buy a car they don't need, to bang some chick that doesn't like them. It comes down to the way they get to spend their money and the way that we're constantly wondering what's going to happen to us. Being poor sucks. But being poor, and I've been saying this again for years, being poor has been normalized to the point where we don't care anymore. Even though there are people flipping out on TikTok right now about how miserable their lives are, we have a tendency to look the other way. Why? Because we've been conditioned to accept this quality of life. The quality of life that you could have never imagined yourself having as a person that went to school, did everything correctly, and still have a dead end job. And that's you and me. We're not working careers. We're working jobs, and jobs that will never turn into careers. We were never going to get to retire. And that's actually something a woman said in a TikTok during this episode of The Epic Economist. She looks at her bills and she says, at this rate, I will never retire. And it freaks her out. But I've been telling you guys this forever. We're not allowed to retire. You are going to work until they put you in the ground. Because with no savings account, no career, and nothing to look forward to. As I've told you guys before, I don't think about my past. I have no future. I have to live like a pigeon in the park right now. All I can do is focus on the right now because I'm not building a future. There's no future without a career, and there are no careers. So if you don't remember your past because there's nothing back there to remember, you have nothing to look forward to. That puts you in a very bad place, people. It puts you in a place where you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or the day after, and you don't want to think about it. All you hope for on a daily basis is that there's enough food so that you don't bite it tomorrow or the day after. Our lives have revolved around just survival. There is no leisure. There is no looking forward to anything. All you have to do is live in the now. From hour to minute, whether you're at Pound Town, the Death Star, or Surf City, all we do is we sit there and we count the pennies and hope it's enough to keep us alive one more day. So here we are, a generation that clocks in, clocks out, and still can't afford the clock we're working against. They tell us to grind harder, save smarter, dream bigger. Meanwhile, bacon costs more than an hour of labor, and rent eats your soul like it's all you can eat night. The truth is, survival has become a luxury, and we're all on layaway. Remember this next time your card declines at the checkout. It's not that you failed, it's that the system overdrafted humanity. Wow. Overdrafted humanity. I'm kind of shocked at some of these answers that ChatGPT is giving me lately. Last night, I put in a comment, a really sweet comment that someone left for my channel, and ChatGPT responded to the comment with the F word. I was like, wait a minute, your community guidelines won't let you talk about anything, but you just dropped an F-bomb? What the heck is going on with you, ChatGPT? I have no idea what is going on in the code behind this AI, but it is changing every single day. It says things that shock me. Today, I asked it to draw thumbnails with a whimsical forest creature, and instead it dropped, well, it dropped 2 melons on my screen, and I was like, wow, AI, you really, really know the human anatomy. It was strange. Like, they were perfectly symmetrical, and I'm like, whoa, who's teaching you how to draw this? Anyhow, guys, I gotta get to Pound Town, so I will talk to you guys later. If you haven't, go watch The Epic Economist. Watching these TikToks of people losing their Vulcan minds over the price of life right now is absolutely amazing. Because as I always say, if you're scared, you're not scared enough of this economy.